Welcome to Inside Richmond, the official vodcast of Richmond Rugby Club. My name is Tom Soulsby, and today we're joined by Richmond's new skills coach and former Nottingham and Worcester player, George Trimmer. George, a huge welcome to the show and a big welcome to Richmond Rugby. We've obviously got a lot to cover today, including your coaching career, your playing career. We want to touch on Richmond's Movember campaign. And we also have some great questions from the outer, our social media followers. But firstly, George, how have you found your first few months at our club?
Yeah, I know it's been fantastic, really. I obviously moved to London only 3 months ago. So I think everybody at the club has been really supportive. And yeah, the first starts, it's been fantastic.
As mentioned, you've been appointed our skills coach, working across our senior men's section. Can you sort of touch on your role and your responsibilities?
Yeah, so the skills coach role is an interesting one, really. So I will work across both the performance and the development squad. So how that works logistically is on a kind of Tuesday and Saturday, I'll be with the performance group. And then on a Thursday night, I'll be with the development group. And on field, what that really means is I'm really there to support the main coaches, i.e., Powley and Matsy in the performance group, and we might look at skill block elements to look at some technical detail around the core skills, which I think is really important for our guys moving into hopefully a championship season.
Absolutely. You mentioned the championship. What attracted you to this position at Richmond, and what excites you about that season ahead for our men's first team?
So I think I probably met with Hilly nearly 12 months ago now in Richmond when I was looking to move into London. And I think the first thing which definitely attracted me to the club was, the one club ethos mentality, which I think is shown across the club, across all the different teams and platforms. And I think a really good testament to that is, on a Tuesday and Thursday night, we have nearly, between 100 and 150 people, and all the girls and the boys are training, which I think is fantastic in a time where there actually isn't a definitive start date. I think, for me, I'm still a young coach, and definitely part of that is my development. And I think there's some fantastic coaches and role models at the club who I'm very much looking forward to working with over the next 12 months.
Obviously, the coaches you've mentioned, you're working alongside a very experienced Richmond coaching group led by Steve, but also with the likes of Matsy and Powley and Kenchi. Obviously, a great chance for you personally to learn off these guys and develop.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, those guys look after different areas. Also Ralphie's been brought in this year. He was head coach at London Scottish. Only 12 months ago. I think these guys are definitely crucial for me developing as a coach, and definitely one of the reasons why I've joined the club.
We're still waiting for the season to be confirmed for our men's first team, but are there any players that have caught your eyes from a skills point of view so far?
It's a very good question. I mean, I probably coach between 50 and 100 players a week. And across the board, there are some very, very talented athletes out there. And, you've only got to go down on a Tuesday night to see that. I think, it's really important for these guys during a period where there hasn't been a definitive start date. It's a really good opportunity for those players to go out and try and get better. And because, across the board at every level, players can improve and players can get better. Without doubt, there are players out there who are, definitely of a championship quality. And I think it's going to be really difficult when we come down to try and pick a side, because there's definitely, going to be some headaches there for Hilly, and I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Touching on your prior coaching experience and before you joined Richmond, you obviously have coaching experience in the Sevens game, but you've had roles with Worcester Academy, Leicester Academy, and Nottingham Trent Uni. Can you touch on these experiences? And was coaching always something that you wanted to get into?
Yes, I've always had an interest in coaching. Obviously, when I had to retire, it automatically made that transition a bit earlier than I'd anticipated, really. So originally, when I had to retire, I got in touch with the RFU, and they put me in touch with Jamie Taylor, who at the time was the academy manager at Leicester Tigers. And he was really important for me really as a mentor, if anything else, just helped me get on the coaching pathway. Did 12 months at the academy whilst at the university. So I think the university game is definitely one that's growing so strong. And I've got a lot of invaluable experience coaching in that Super League in Nottingham-Trent. Then, I moved away from Nottingham, moved back towards home, and working in property in Birmingham. Went back to Worcester, where I played for 6 years in the academy. So I spent a year coaching there. And then kind of alongside the Sevens, I've done a bit of England counties, regional work as well, in the age group programs. And then obviously now moved here to Richmond.
And you've always, obviously, as you touched on, you've got a huge amount of playing experience to lean on in your coaching career. You played professionally for Nottingham in the Championship, and as you mentioned, through Worcester's academy. How do you now reflect on your playing career?
I've got some definitely fond memories of my playing career. I think my time definitely was very short, and I'd have hoped it was longer. When you're growing up as a player in the academy, all you want to do is try and run out for your club. And then when I had an opportunity to play professionally and start my first contract, I was obviously over the moon. And when you grow up, you're sitting on seminars and presentations of what ifs if it goes wrong, and you just hope and you think it'll never be you. But 2021 I had to retire due to kind of a serious knee injury. Definitely fond memories, real fond memories of university, and really fond memories at Nottingham Rugby Club. It's a great, fantastic club, great people around there. So memories I'll definitely cherish.
You touched on your knee injury there that obviously forced a really premature end to your career. I know it's obviously very brutal to chat about, but if you're happy to, can you sort of explain how difficult that period was for you, and did you personally feel ready for your automatic switch to life after rugby?
Yeah, to be honest, I mean it came as a shock really. So I injured my Achilles at the end of pre-season. We were prepping to play against Leicester Tigers in pre-season, and I partially tore my Achilles, so I had it scanned, and whilst I was getting it scanned, the club thought it'd be a good idea to get my knee checked, because I'd had previous history with a knee problem, and when I got that scanned, it essentially brought up that there'd been serious deterioration in the knee, at which point I saw 3 or 4 consultants who all had the same view that if I didn't stop now, to put it frankly, at 40 I wouldn't be able to walk. So look, it was a big shock. I remember calling my twin at the time when I came out of the first appointment, and it was very difficult. I didn't really know what to do, but luckily I had a really good support network around me, and that definitely helped guide me into a new career really. But it was definitely difficult and definitely a shock, and I hope that any player has to go through that has the right support around them to try and get through in the best way possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, I read that during your career you studied. So you studied real estate at Nottingham-Trent Uni, and obviously you now work full-time for Savills. But how important was it to have something like that to sort of move forward with?
Yeah, no, so important. And, I'm very fortunate that, my team at Savills are really, really happy and are really supportive around my role at Richmond. I think the key thing for me was to try and get away and try and find something new. The scholarship team at the university really did help. And we actually found rowing, which I went into for a short period. I think it's really, really key for any time when you have something like that, you've got to try and find something new to focus your attention on really. And it was good that I had that property knocking away in the background, and obviously the rowing, which kind of for a short period took my attention onto something else.
Touching on your rowing, you did that for just over a year, I believe, with the British Rowing Program. How was that experience? Was rowing something that you had done before, or?
Yeah, do you know what? Really, really interesting. So when I had to retire, the university were very good in trying to find a different sport. I shouldn't really run, and it's the impact through the knee. So it's kind of that floor impact with the foot, which I should try and avoid. So essentially, it was swimming, rowing, or cycling. And the UK sport actually have a scheme called Discover Your Gold, whereby you are tested as an athlete and your ability as an athlete. And I got through the different stages of testing through the program, and they found rowing, which they thought would be potentially could be a fit. And then I went through the different rowing testing, and then spent 12 months on the GB development pathway, training at the National Water Sports Centre, which is pretty much a full-time program, funded obviously by the National Lottery. Unfortunately, I think I was training in the gym, and the S&C guy at the time changed the program, and I went into a deep front squat, and my right knee, everything just pinged off my knee bone. So more major surgery. And then at that point, I thought it was probably the right time to probably give up a career as an athlete and potentially go and explore the coaching avenue instead.
And obviously, just before we move on to Movember, just on the coaching, do you feel your experiences as a player, and also, I guess, also in rowing, is now sort of helping you interact, challenge, and coach the players you're working with?
Yeah, I think I've definitely had a lot of experience in different areas and different scenarios. I think, the key thing I've learned over my time is, to try and develop relationships with different players, is crucial. Ultimately, players are people, and I think sometimes as coaches we kind of forget that. So I think, definitely my experience to try and develop coaches, develop players by trying to create more of a people approach. So, definitely, and my role as a skills coach definitely allows me to do that. So I'm really looking forward to that over the next, 12 months.
Absolutely. Moving on quickly now to a hugely important campaign which is taking place as we speak this month, and which you're showcasing superbly with your very own moustache. It's Movember. George, in your opinion, and the club has obviously got a Movember campaign going with a number of players and coaches and other members taking part. But in your opinion, why is it so crucially important to promote and raise awareness for men's health?
I think, it's so important, given, I think the data is really, really key, and it's quite staggering for me. And the data talks for itself. It doesn't need any explanation, really. 358 men die from suicide per month. And probably another important point to reiterate that is that 3/4 of all suicides are from males. Definitely in rugby environments, you're built around, that alpha male dominance. And, I think it's really, really crucial that people can come away from that and just be honest. And if they are struggling, talk about it. And I think, we're really lucky at Richmond. We've got, our mental health campaign where, we've got a service for all members, playing and non-playing, where they can go for impartial advice. But, not everybody has that. And I think, the more we can talk about it and try and raise awareness, the better, really.
And you're part of our Richmond Movember campaign, which we have now raised, I think, over £1,800 for Movember. So that's a fantastic effort. So thank you for everyone who has donated so far. I guess, what is your message to those wanting to maybe join in or get behind this campaign, either obviously this year or years going forward?
I think probably, a really important stat as well is that, by 2030, Movember are going to try and reduce the amount of premature deaths in males by 25%. And I think for them to do that, not only have they got to raise, a serious amount of funds to support the programs they're providing, but it's also about raising awareness and, trying to raise awareness across the UK and wider across the world, really, about men's health issues. And even, if we can, every person who is included within that, program, they've got their own channels everybody's got different channels they can explore, and the more people we can get involved, the further we can kind of, allow these messages to be delivered. And I think that's really, really crucial.
Another really important aspect of the Movember campaign obviously focuses on the importance of having a conversation, which males obviously historically haven't always been great at. But how important do you believe it is to reach out to a mate, a teammate, a colleague, a family, or a friend, just to say, hello, see how they're traveling, and make sure things are okay, obviously at the moment during a challenging time?
Yeah, so important. During the first lockdown, actually, Movember ran a research piece where they looked at the effect conversations had on males, and they actually showed that 85% of men found it extremely helpful when they were asked if they were okay when they weren't. As I said previously, the data doesn't lie; it's there. I think definitely, they're trying to run a new campaign called a conversation a day. And what this means is, pick up the phone, speak to somebody who you wouldn't ordinarily speak to. The problem we have at the moment is everybody's always really busy. Nobody has any extra time. When actually, people, you can make time. And even if it's not every day or even every week, maybe even once a month, if you pick up that phone to a friend you haven't spoken to in a while and just ask if he's okay. And, as a human, we're quite robotic sometimes. I think, our general response is, yeah, I'm okay. I'm great. Thank you. How you doing? And actually, I think it's maybe asking that question 2 or 3 times to try and get behind that robotic response. I think it's really important. And yeah, I'd urge anybody, to definitely try and jump on that initiative by November.
Yep, and that is our challenge from George and myself and the whole Richmond Rugby Club. We would like to challenge everyone at our club and across the rugby community to check in on your mates during the upcoming autumn Nations Cup. So for every match you're watching over the next few weekends, why not use the 15-minute halftime break to check in on a friend, a colleague, or a family member? Just have a quick call, flick them a message, say hello, ask how they are, and just have a good chat. Obviously, it's a really tough time for everyone at the moment, and keeping in touch and having a short convo will make a big, big difference. So that's our challenge to you. Give it a go. Let's support each other through these tricky times. George, who is rocking the best mustache at Richmond at the moment?
Great question. I think Ben's doing a pretty good shot on it. I think it's difficult. We're only 9 days in.
Yeah.
I think the real test is going to come when we're 20 days in and people start shaping their mows. I think definitely some people are definitely on the lie low, on the back burner, trying to grow something because they're not too sure if it's suitable for social media. But I think there are definitely a few good attempts out there at the moment.
Yeah. And as mentioned, we've raised over £1,800 so far. So obviously a great amount. I'm going to put the fundraising link on the screen now. It will also be below this video on YouTube. Please, if you can, jump on, have a look, make a donation if you can. Check out all the photos of the guys doing Movember. It's a good laugh, and obviously for a really great cause. And just before we move on, obviously all Richmond Rugby members and their families are reminded that you have 24/7 support available to you via the Richmond Mental Wellbeing Program, which is funded. It was conceived by the Richmond Heavies Foundation. It's there to be used. The information is all on our website. It will also be below this video on YouTube. So please make use of it during this challenging period, because we are one club and we can support each other. So please do take up the offer. George, now we've got a few more minutes to go in our interview, and we're ready to jump over to the questions from our social media followers. We got a few last night, so please strap yourself in. There's a few curveballs here. Some I have no idea what they're talking about, so I'll just let you take it on. So here we go. Are you ready?
I think so. Go on.
First things first, is it true that you appeared on the TV show Take Me Out? And if so, did you get a date?
I can confirm that I did go on Take Me Out, and that I did. Yeah, go on a date to Fernando's. Yeah.
Very good. That moves on quickly to our next question from Reese. He asks you, what is the best date spot on the island of Fernando's?
The best date spot? Interesting question. I think, I'm not sure if many people are aware, actually, Fernando's is actually Tenerife, so it's not actually a real island. To be honest, there isn't much good out there. I think I'd avoid it at all costs.
Ollie Evans, obviously a Richmond player, asks you, George, how many Tinder/Hinge dates have you been on?
I've never been on a Hinge date, Ollie. Never been on one.
Next question here from Harry Hawkswood. He asks you, what is your strategy behind the flat screen television investments?
What? Got absolutely no idea.
Neither do I. Yeah, neither do I. But moving on, David Williams asks you, how many crates have you bought with your dad's credit card?
What?
You're being stitched up here, mate. I think that's what's
I am, absolutely. 0? I don't know. What's the right answer?
No idea. Harry Betts asks you, do you intentionally always dress like an estate agent?
Wow. I mean, not intentionally, Harry. It's a bit of a running joke that I'm an estate agent when I'm actually not. Not there's anything wrong with an estate agent. But no, Harry, I don't intentionally dress like an estate agent.
Owen Williams asks you, what is your plan for a rapidly retreating hairline?
Wow. Probably to get rid of it, Owen, if it carries on. Retreating.
Very good. John Hargraves asks you, what is the highlight of your coaching career so far?
Good question. I mean, I really enjoy coaching at the Sevens. And we went over to Dubai with the team I coach last year. And we beat South Africa A team, which I think was definitely a highlight. Massive underdogs, and we went out and did a job on them. That's probably one of my highlights, I'd say.
Very good. Couple more to go. Boise, Andrew Boyce asks you, will you ever be able to win the Salcombe Sevens?
When we have Boise playing for us next year, I think we'll definitely win. No, I think we've definitely got that on the cards, Boise.
Very good. And just finally, before we let you off the hook, is it also true you're a big fan of Colin the Caterpillar cake?
Who's that question come off?
I don't know.
Do you know what? Colin the Caterpillar is definitely my favourite cake. I can't lie. I do like a Colin. Definitely for your birthday. You can't beat it. I think it's the key thing is there. You've got to go for the M&S Colin. All the knockoffs aren't good enough. The M&S Colin is the one you want to go for. Great answer. I'm sure Timmy Wolford appreciates that response. George, it's been an absolute pleasure and a lot of fun to have you on the show. Thank you for coming on, and obviously a very big welcome to Richmond. It's great to have you with us going forward, and we look forward to seeing the impact you'll have on the squad when the season eventually starts. Everyone, my name is Tom Soulsby, and this has been another episode of Inside Richmond, the official podcast of Richmond Rugby Club. See you next time from George and I. Thank you very much. Cheers. Thank you.